Rebecca, should we give them one more Broadway fact?
This is probably my favorite Broadway fact.
All right, ready?
From the wings.
So thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. What are we chatting about today?
Today we are going to talk about facts about Broadway that people may or may not know. We're going to test your knowledge a little bit.
I've never been to New York, never been to Broadway. Love Broadway though. So
how do you know you love it if you haven't?
Because I've seen so much, like on the specials and going to some off-Broadway shows, like in Chicago, but never New York.
Okay, so what is it that you think that New York has for you that you're like, I can't get this in New York. I cannot get this in Chicago. I need to go to New York because I want to see or do what?
I think the originality.
Oh.
Like just the fact that, and the energy of someone making it to New York. Because I know like making it in Chicago, that's big. Yeah. But often it's the road show that came off of the New York. So I just feel like the energy must be different. Yeah. And like once you get to Chicago, they've done it a couple times. Okay. But I feel like the New York feeling, I just want to see that.
I want to know if you know when the first Broadway musical opened on Broadway.
Let's say, I'm going to say 1880.
Okay, 1866.
Wow.
Right?
In New York.
In New York. The name of it was The Black Crook.
Ooh.
And it was kind of like a take on the main kind of story that, there's a woman in distress and a villain bad guy and somebody has to rescue her, not like a Dudley Whiplash or whatever his name was.
So very silent filmy almost.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's what, at least that's what, when I read about it, it seems like I really wasn't around in 1866 to really tell you. And I've never heard of that musical ever before.
But that's the first one.
At that time, or between now and then, Broadway theaters have come and gone. But there used to be a time when there was almost 100 Broadway theaters. Isn't that crazy? 100.
In New York alone.
In New York City alone, yes. But since then, some of them have gotten destroyed or they've gotten repurposed. And so now they say that it's somewhere around 44. They kind of keep up, come. But still, that's a lot. 44 that are staying in business almost full time is still a lot. So you remember me telling you that I went a few years ago?
Yes.
Do you know the thing that I was the most surprised about?
What?
The size of the theater.
Bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
Wow.
Because here, when you've grown up, so to speak, going to Chicago theater, you think of the theater space being big and ornate and 3 balconies. And there's a lot of times that the theaters, at least that I went to, were about half that size.
Wow.
So I was really surprised at the intimacy. I also didn't know if you knew that to be a Broadway theater, a venue has to have a certain kind of contract that puts it in that Broadway league. And in other words, this organization kind of oversees all the things that come and go with there. And if you have a theater space that has over 500 and are independently run, like a Radio City Music Hall, that is not considered a Broadway theater because that is independently. So it has to be under the Broadway league.
And what counts to be under the Broadway league?
It's a certain kind of contract that they have.
Wow. And you have to, and it doesn't matter if you have more than 500?
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I never knew that. I never knew that what made it Broadway or what didn't make it Broadway. Have you heard of the famous Broadway musical, A Chorus Line?
I have.
All right. Did you know that in 1975 is when it actually debuted? That's the word I want. And by the way, when I was dating my soon-to-be husband, I grew up in North Carolina. And when I was dating him, he took me downtown and we went into the Schubert Theater, and there was a great big poster on the wall of somebody I went to school with in 6th grade in Little Podunk, Kinston, North Carolina, who was starring in A Chorus Line. Anyway, it won 9 Tonys.
Wow.
Back in the day, before it reached its popularity, the top ticket price, 1975, so that's not the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
$15.
In 1975?
Yep.
the top ticket price.
Yes.
So it's like, oh yeah, I'm going and I spent a hefty $15.
A long way from Hamilton's $400 and $500 tickets that they can charge now. Once it got its notoriety and it began to get its Tonys and everything, the ticket prices obviously went up. But it started at that point. Isn't it crazy?
That is insane just to think.
Broadway has a nickname. Do you know what it is?
Give me a hint.
It has a color in it.
Red, blue, green, gold.
She's getting not closer.
White.
The Great White Way. Have you ever heard that?
Never in my life.
I've heard it called that, but I've never even really thought about it. And it is because when light bulbs were invented,
Love it.
they lit all the signs and everything down Broadway, right? And that was the first or one of the first streets in New York City that had all those not iridescent lights, all those light bulbs. And so it became very popular. In fact, became the starting point for so many advertisers realizing that the way to have a little bit more zing for your is lights, because you wanted to dazzle other people. And so then, of course, they started changing the colors and everything. It was so popular that during World War I, when we were supposed to have kind of a lights out and we were rationing resources, the people of New York went to the government and said, we demand you to give us more rations to be able to use coal because we want to light Broadway.
Oh my word.
Isn't that kind of fun?
Wow. So is that why Times Square, it's just so many lights everywhere? Because that's definitely the New York way.
That's their thing.
That's interesting.
So
the Great White Way.
So now you're going to, next trivia contest, you're going to really know what you're doing. Yes.
The Great White Way.
Thank you. That's not the answer all the time. But for this question, it
Which
is.
Yes.
So when I've stayed in New York, I usually pick a street that is almost like just right outside of the theater district, so that it's a part where the street continues on, but you're just not sure whether maybe you should keep going down that street because you're not sure what's going on down there. But it's close enough that you can walk. I love to walk down the streets. I just love the way the city is laid out. And I don't even really like to take the underground.
Really?
No, I really like to walk. So here's my big reveal. There is no I in Broadway.
Okay.
And I don't just mean the word Broadway.
Okay.
So when it first started, people would get confused between row 1 and row I. And so they would see the I and they would think, oh, I'm in the first row. So they would go down to sit, and then there'd be big fights and disagreements and stuff. So they just took them out. So there's rows A through H and J through Z.
That is so interesting. And they just decided, hey, this is the best for everyone.
Best to do it like this.
Is overshadowed the same way?
No.
We're not.
No.
Because our people are smart.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why. It's because I actually just learned this fact, and now I'm going to have to want to be like Broadway, and I'm going to have to do it. So 2 last facts for you. If you had to guess, if I said that over 66% of the Broadway audiences are, what would you say?
Youth.
Female.
Okay.
Which is easy.
Yeah.
See, if I had to guess, I would have said senior citizens.
Oh.
Because I feel like they have more money. They've grown up on it. They've grown, so that's what I would have said, but female. And the last fact is, even though Aladdin has been out for so many years and so many people have watched that carpet fly, as of yet, the secret has not been revealed as what makes Aladdin's magic carpet fly in the musical.
I love that.
Isn't it great? How did they keep people keeping their mouths shut for such a long time? How did they do that? So
there's no like leaked.
Nope.
Wow.
People think they've figured it out,
but no one has come out and said, this backstage guy said that. Da, 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 da.
Right.
That's theater magic.
Yeah. Amen.
That's commitment.
I think it's so Disney and theater together, and nobody has leaked this. So makes me want to see it again.
Really look at it.
But I even had a backstage tour when I went. They gave our group a backstage tour. And so we're looking around and trying to figure it out. Nothing. No way you can figure it out.
Because it looks so cool.
Oh, it's amazing. Have you not seen it?
Of course. I've never been to Broadway.
Rebecca, should we give them one more Broadway fact?
This is probably my favorite Broadway fact.
All right, ready?
From the Wings
Is
going
to
Broadway!
We are so excited. We promised you guys last year when we did the review of Funny Girl, which maybe you can link below. We said it was something that we were going to have to do, but we were only going to do it if we hit 100 subscribers by the end of the year, right? That's what we said. And we are now currently at 139. Look at us. We think we're all that, don't we? We want you guys to weigh in too. So if you've heard that something is really good right now and it's something that we need to see, please comment and tell us, because we'd love to take you along with us on this ride. So, do you remember what they are?
So, first and foremost, Funny Girl, which I'm really excited for.
Me too. And then we're also going to see Parade, which is something that I saw workshopped when I went to the Broadway Intensive several years ago. And guess who is starring?
Ben Platt.
The one and only. So I've actually never seen him live. I actually saw Dear Evan on Broadway when I went, and he wasn't performing that night, so I didn't get to see him. So this will be,
sad.
Hopefully that doesn't happen to us again, and I'll get to see him.
And you still haven't seen the movie.
And I still haven't seen the movie.
Dear Evan Hansen. So this is gonna be so exciting. I've been following along a little bit on their Instagram, and it looks really good. And everyone involved. Normally, they're supposed to seem excited, but they seem authentically excited for the story.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And then the last one, we're going to see New York, New York, which is also a new musical. And who knows, maybe we'll love these and we'll think, oh, that's something Overshadowed could do. And then when the rights come out,
boom,
there we are. So we want to take you guys along on this trip, and we want you to, I'm so excited to show Rebecca in New York because she's never been there. We haven't decided how many days we're going to stay yet, whether it's 2 or 3, but we're going to try to pack in as many shows as we can and make your list of questions, or tell us you've got to go see blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, especially if there's 45 theaters, there might be a show that we didn't think about. And definitely tell us. And then go ahead to From the Wings on Instagram. We're going to be posting a lot of content there. So go ahead and follow us on the Instagram as well.
Yeah, love it. Well, any other questions, comments, Rebecca? Anything you want to add?
We're going to New York.
We're going to New York.
I'm so excited for you guys along with.
So until next time.
This is just me.
And me.
Talking to you
from the wings.